जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारि यमुनतीरवनचारि जय राधमाधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल Hey, so let's start with the prayers first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनम् हृदयन्तस्तो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारणम् श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् कृष्ण Okay, so yeah, I'll share the screen. This is the wrong one I've shared, I think. This is my previous class. Stop sharing. Okay, share. Okay, so this is the correct screen, I think. Are you able to see the screen? Is it the size is okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's okay. So, um, from what I understand, I'm supposed to start from verse 9 onwards. Third canto, sixth chapter, verse 9. Is that correct?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes,
Nine,
Prabhu.
9 to 16.
So just make it yeah, advanced. So, okay, before we start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशितारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. Okay, so just to do a little background, also go into a little background of this chapter. So it's basically the continuation of the samvad or the dialogue between Maitreya Muni and Vidurji. So Vidurji has asked questions from Maitreya Muni to elaborate more on the leelas of the Lord, especially the Purusha avatars and all the other leelas which the Lord performs, and it goes into then creation. Yeah? How does the Lord does do the creation pastimes? So we're going to talk about that, and this is something which has been already covered in the second canto also in greater detail. But one of the understandings here, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is that why this is being repeated is because just to have a confirmation that the same kind of pastimes happened in different kalpas or different days of Brahmas. Yeah? Normally, otherwise, sometimes there are some differences in some versions. Yeah, and why this difference is it's attributed to the kalpa bhed, that in this day of Brahma, such and such event happened, but on another day of Brahma, a similar day of Brahma, it varied in a different way. Yeah. So here it is just to re-emphasize that, yeah, the creation process is exactly the same. But here it is not gone into, we don't go into too many details. Yeah. Maitri Muni does not go into too many details. He sort of summarizes the whole thing. Yeah. So he's talking about the Purusha avatars and talking mainly about the Shrishti Lila, which is the creation, yeah, creation pastimes of the Lord. Yeah. So how Karanadaksha, I mean, he's appearing as one Lord and then wants to become many, and then he impregnates Prakriti with the sidelong glance, yeah. And then with Kala Shakti and then Jiva Shakti, they all come. So all these things we have covered in the past, yeah. Pradhan is manifested and manifests into the Mahatattva, and then how the mind, intelligence, all one by one, they all come into play. So this is just going forward in the whole series. So the way to look at this whole thing is, of course, yes, it is important because it is related to the creation of the Lord and all the things so which the Lord has done for our benefit. Yeah, he's so merciful because this whole material creation is so that we have a decent place. Everything is done in a structured manner, and the Lord is perfect. So whatever He's creating has to be perfect. We are imperfect. We have spoiled everything here, the way we have to deal with the material nature also. Even that we are not doing it in a perfect way. Yeah. So the understanding here is that, like we have in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Gyan and Vigyan. So one understanding of Gyan and Vigyan is knowledge and realization. Gyan is knowledge, and Vigyan is the realization of the knowledge. Or the another understanding for Gyan and Vigyan would be that Gyan is to know the opulences of Krishna, how great Krishna is, what is he capable of, what all has he done. Of course, it's impossible to know that in entirety. It's not possible for us to even whatever the vibhutis Krishna has highlighted in Bhagavad Gita is just a spark of his total all his vibhutis. Yeah, just a spark of his splendor. It's and why has he spoken all those things? Not because he wants to talk that how great I am and all. No, because Arjun, as a pure devotee of the Lord, as an eternal associate of the Lord, he has asked the Lord that please, why don't you tell me a little more, tell me a little more, and we are benefiting from that. Yeah. So that is Gyan, knowing the opulence of the Lord. And Vigyan means to know the sweetness of the Lord. That despite being all in all, the supreme personality of Godhead, He is the creator of everything, Sarva Karana Karanam. Despite being in that position, He's still so merciful. Yeah, still performs all these leelas to keep the living entities happy. And of course, he performs all these leelas to attract us and take us back home, back to Godhead. But here now we're going to focus more on um, the creation pastimes of the Lord. Yeah. So why and see the attention to detail which has gone in, and who are assisting the Lord in all these things. All these things will be doing in this particular chapter. Yeah. So that's how we have to really approach this chapter. Yeah. So basically, the raw material, everything is ready, and now the materials have to come together, yeah, to create a functional universe. Yeah. So that is this process now, which is going to be talked about. So most of the verses, the first verse has some little amount of purport, but otherwise, most of the following verses will not have much purport. So we can spend a little time on understanding how the whole thing is, the flow is going to be. Then it'll be easier to do the subsequent verses. साध्यात्म साधिवैश् साधिदैवश्च साधिभूता इति त्रिधा विराट प्राणो दश विधा एकदा हृदयेन च. Prabhu, do you do word for word or just translation?
No, Prabhu,
So,
you can ask translation to be read by any devotee and the purport also. If the purports are big, you can take a call whether to read it fully or just summarize it.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll do the translation and because it's a small one only.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So the gigantic universal form is represented by 3, 10, and 1, in the sense that he is the body and the mind and the senses. So that makes it 3. He is the dynamic force for all movements by 10 kinds of life energy. And he is the one heart where life energy is generated. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. So his translation is here. Now, if anyone can read the
Yes,
book,
Prabhupada.
just one sec. Let me just see how big it is. Yeah, it's okay. I think we should read it.
In Bhagavad Gita 7.4 and 5, it is stated that the 8 elements earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego are all products of Lord's inferior energy, whereas the living entities who are seen to utilize the inferior energy originally belong to the superior energy, the internal potency of the Lord. The 8 inferior energies work grossly and subtly, whereas the superior energy works as a central generating force. This is experienced in the human body. The gross elements, namely earth, etc., form the external gross body and are like a coat, whereas the subtle mind and false ego act like the inner clothing of the body. The movements of the body are first generated from the heart, and all the activities of the body are made possible by the senses, powered by the 10 kinds of air within the body. The 10 kinds of air are described as follows. The main air passing through the nose is breathing is called pran. The air which passes through the rectum is evacuated bodily air is called apan. The air which adjusts the food stuff within the stomach and which sometimes sounds as belching is called samana. The air which passes through the throat and the stoppage of which constitutes suffocation is called the udana air. And the total air which circulates throughout the entire body is called the Vayana air. So, subtle, subtler than these 5 airs, there are others also. That which facilitates the opening of the eyes, mouth, etc., is called Naga air. The air which increases appetite is called Krakra, Karkara air. The air which helps contraction is called Kurma air, the air which helps relaxation by opening the mouth wide in yawning, is called Devdatta air, and the air which helps sustenance is called Dhananjaya air. All these airs are generated from the center of the heart, which is one only. This central energy is superior energy of the Lord, who is seated within the heart with the soul of the body, who acts under the guidance of the Lord. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 as follows. Sarvasya chaham hari sat trivishto matah smriti jnanam pohanam cha Vedesh sarvam rahemev vedyo Vedant krida dev chaham. The complete central force is generated from the heart of the Lord, from the heart by the Lord, who is seated there and who helps the conditioned soul in remembering and forgetting. The conditioned state is due to the soul's forgetfulness of his relationship of subordination to the Lord. One who wants to continue to forget the Lord is helped by the Lord to forget him birth after birth, but one who remembers him by dint of association with the devotee of the Lord is helped to remember him more and more. Thus, the conditioned soul can ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. This process of transcendental help by the Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 as follows. Tesham satat yuktanam bhajata priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mamupayanti te. The Buddhi Yoga process of self realization and intelligence transcendental to the mind, that is, devotional service, can alone elevate one from the conditioned state of material entanglement in the cosmic construction. The conditioned state of living entity is like that of a person who is within the depths of a huge mechanical arrangement. The mental speculators can reach the point of Buddhi Yoga after many lifetimes of speculation But the intelligent person who begins from the platform of intelligence above the mind makes rapid progress in self realization. Because the Buddhi Yoga process entails no fear of deterioration or retrogression at any time, it is the guaranteed path to self realization, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40. The mental speculators cannot understand that the two birds, Svetashar Upanishad, sitting in one tree are the soul and the super soul. The individual soul eats the fruit of the tree, while the other bird does not eat the fruit but only observes the activities of the eating bird. Without attachment, the witnessing bird helps the fruit eating bird perform fruitful activities. One who cannot understand the difference between the soul and the super soul, or God and the living entity, is certainly still in the entanglement of the cosmic machinery and thus must still await the time when he will be free from bondage. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Thank you, Shashil Prabhu. Thank you. So yeah, so Srila Prabhupada, as usual, I mean, in his purports, he's packed in so many things, because and he's guiding. Okay, the translation is something different, the verse is something different, but he takes it to again to the level of bhakti. And that is the main thing which we really have to focus on. So some of the things which really, of course, he very nicely he's talked about the pranas and all, also 10 life hairs which are there, which we'll discuss a little in more in the in detail as well. But again, the most important thing is that he's talking about the Lord. I mean, everything, the central energy is the superior energy of the Lord. Yeah. So Krishna is the topmost energy which is there. Yeah. And he's saying that he's taken the reference of Sarvasya Aham Hridi Sannivishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Aponaham Cha Vedescha Sarver Aham Eva Vedya Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chaham. So yeah, understanding here also is that the end of all these studies which we are doing is that Vedesh Sarver, ये सारा पढ़ने का what is the purpose? To understand that Krishna is the source of everything. We have to understand Krishna. We have to know about Krishna. We have to serve Krishna. Yeah. So again, he's bringing in the aspect of bhakti into everything which he's talking about. And again, 10.10 verse, he is talking about the Tesham Satata Yuktanam. So that is the mode in which the devotees are. Yeah, they're always satat. Yeah, they're always thinking of the Lord. Yeah, bhajatam priti purvakam. वो प्रीति के साथ वो प्रेम के साथ भक्ति करते हैं, भजताम भजते हैं भगवान को. Yeah, and then what happens if you do it in such a mode? But the key word is not bhajatam priti purvakam. Yes, it is very important, but key word is satat. Satat is always. Yeah, ये नहीं कि एक आज किया फिर अगले एकादशी करेंगे. No. So that is the key really here for us to understand. Then Krishna will give you all the knowledge which will be needed, yeah, to go back to him. You don't have to be materially qualified. You don't have to be a Sanskrit Pandit. No, you can be an illiterate. Krishna will provide you the knowledge. जो आपको चाहिए वो कृष्णा दे देंगे. Whatever you're lacking, he'll give you. So that is how we see. So Buddhi Yoga process or the Bhakti Yoga process, that is the key. You can do all kinds of mental speculations and all, but you have to reach the point of Buddhi Yoga after many, many lifetimes. Yeah. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. After many, many lifetimes, if you follow the path of Jnana Yoga, yeah, try to do mental speculation and try to figure out who is Krishna, what are his capabilities, what are his powers, what are his opulences, all those things. If you try to do it on your own, then janam lag jayenge, janam lag jayenge. Then you come to the realization that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Yeah. So we are really fortunate that Srila Prabhupada, at every instance, he is pushing us into bhakti. Yeah. So that is the whole crux of all these things. All what we are going to do today, all the other verses and all, it's talking about how mercifully the Lord has made this arrangement for us, yeah, so that we are able to lead a decent life here. Yeah, He's created it because we requested it. We wanted it. We wanted to enjoy away from the Lord. We didn't enjoy ourselves in the spiritual world. So ne humko apna aaram se yahan pe, we want to try it out. So He said, okay, fine, I'll set it up for you. So that is what He has done. And then He's talking about 2.40 also, Neha Vikrame Nashosti. So whatever little effort you do, Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya, Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So even a little effort you do, in any little endeavor you make in the spiritual line and in your spiritual progress, if you try to progress spiritually, yeah, try to do something which is spiritual, not pious, but spiritual. You want to do some devotional service for the Lord or for the devotees of the Lord. That gets recorded and that will protect you from falling down lower in the species. Yeah. Trayate Mahato Bhaya. The biggest fear which we have is that we should not fall down from the species of man. Yeah. We shouldn't go down to animal, lower species. But of course, that is a very low bar we are setting ourselves for. We want to be greedy. We want to go higher and higher and higher, and not to the higher material planets. We want to cross all these material planets, transcend all these planets, and go back home, back to Godhead. And the only way of doing that, in especially in Kali Yuga, is Nam Sankirtan. We have to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with attention, with sincerity, and with complete conviction that this is what is going to take us back home, back to Godhead. So in this particular verse, he's talked about the three. There is a three, there is a one, there is a 10. Yeah. So the Tridha he's talking about is the three Atma Shaktis which are there. Yeah. So you have the Adhyatma, you have the Adideva, and Adi Bhautik. Yeah. These are the three. The Tridha is going to talk about. I'm sure we are reasonably familiar with these three terms. Do you want me to go into this a little more, or is it okay? Adhyatmik, Adi. So normally we talk about these as three kaleshas, material miseries. Adhyatmik, Adi Deva, or Adi Bhuta. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu, we are aware.
So these are the tridha we are talking about. And then we have these one Jiva Shakti which is there. Ekada refers to that. And then you have the 10 pranas which are there, the life air, the prana Shaktis. So Srila Prabhupada has talked about these uh, five of them in details. So we'll just quickly see what are those various pranas and what their functions are really. Yeah. So also in this yeah, so in the verse it says, in the first line it says, sorry, yeah, Sadhyatma. So Sadhyatma means along with the senses. So Adhyatma is that. So Adhyatma is referring to the senses. Yeah. And then Deva. So along with the Devatas, Adi Bhuta. And then Adi Deva. And then Sa Adi Bhuta. So along with the Adi Bhuta. So that is what the three means. So the 10 pranas, Srila Prabhupada has also mentioned the top five which are there. So they are prana, apana, samana, udana, dhyana. These are the five primary ones which Srila Prabhupada has referred to in more details. Then you have kurma, krikara, devadatta, and naga, kurma, krikara, devadatta, and dhananjay. So prana is the main thing which moves forward and is located in the nostrils. So the breathing which we do, yeah, that is the prana which we take in. It's a life force. And then apana is the one which moves down from and goes from the anus. And then samana is for the digestion. Yeah. Normally the understanding is that the fires of digestion. So you need to have fire in your belly to digest the food properly, but you need air also. Yeah, because we are made of all these eight elements. So air also has to play an important role. Water has to play an important role. So all these are there. Yeah, so samana is to do with the food and drink, what we do about the assimilation and the digestion of the food and drink. Then udana is it rises up and is located in the throat. And then naga is the one which vyana. Vyana is the one which is located all over the body. It moves everywhere and it's moving all over the body. Then naga is the one which causes expulsion. Kurma is the one which causes the eyes to open. So we just take everything for granted. Yeah. This whole body is there. Everything is happening. We have no clue of how things are functioning in the body. So I was talking to my wife also and telling her that in school also we used to say that this human body is a perfect machine and all, but nowhere any credit is given that yeah there is a maker who has made this, yeah, who is perfect himself and all. It's not easy to add that in a biology class, but still that is the understanding we're getting now, that so many things are into play to just to for us to open our eyes, for us to speak, for us to move our hands. आएगा भी सारा एक एक वर्ष में आएगा. So this is just amazing what the Lord has done. How much, and not just the Lord, but all the devatas also, how they are assisting the Lord in his endeavor. Yeah. So kurma causes the eyes to open. Krikara is the one which causes hunger, so creates an appetite. Devadatta is something which causes yawning. And Dhananjay is which causes nourishment. So these are the 10 pranas which are there. And one refers to the jiva. Yeah, ekada hridayena. So that is the jiva itself. So the whole thing we have to understand is the universal form of the Lord is like a prototype in which all the all the devatas, they are given different tasks. You're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, and all. We'll be doing that in detail. And then based on that prototype, all the jeev, they are created. Yeah. Because the primary creation was done by the Lord. Brahmaji was then responsible for the secondary creation. But when everything was manifest, all the Mahatattva and all was there, now what? What do we do now? So the Devatas approached the Lord and asked, yeah, okay, now what are we supposed to do? So this is how the Lord has given instructions and made it clear to them that how they have to proceed. Is it clear? The basics? Because it's better for us. Of course, you're all welcome to go as deep as you want into it. But these are just the Leelas of the Lord for creation. Yeah, the Leela Shakti has been elaborated in the verses which you're talking about. So it's good to have an understanding from the point of view that the Lord is so great that how nicely He has arranged everything and how nicely the Devatas are helping the Lord in making these arrangements. So that's how we have to do it. Verse 10. Smaran Vishwasrijam Misho Vijñapitam Madhokshajah Virajam Atapatsvena Tejasaisham Vivrittaye. Translation: the Supreme Lord is the super soul of all the demigods entrusted with the task of constructing the cosmic manifestation. So demigods have a major role here. They are entrusted with constructing the cosmic manifestation. Being thus prayed to by the demigods, he thought to himself and thus manifested the gigantic form for their understanding. So now, in this verse, you would be wondering, I mean, being thus asked, yeah, being thus prayed to. Kahan kiya pray? There are no prayers here of the demigods to the Lord. So this was actually the order is slightly jumbled. Yeah, because this prayer was done in the fifth chapter, 3.5, 49th verse, I think. That's when the demigods are approaching the Lord, saying that, yes, everything is there. Now what are we supposed to do? Please instruct us. How do we go forward? So now the Lord has done is he thought to himself, and thus he manifested the universal form so that they understand, okay, this is my form, this is how everything should work, and now you go and do the further creation. Yeah. So can somebody, yeah, it's not very big. Can somebody read the purport, please?
Sure,
I'll
Prabhuji.
read.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Purport, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, sure.
The impersonalists are captivated by the gigantic universal form of the Supreme. They think that the control behind this gigantic manifestation is an imagination. Intelligent persons, however, can estimate the value of the cause by observing the wonders of the effects. For example, the individual human body does not develop from the womb of the mother independently, but because the living entity, the soul, is within the body. Without the living entity, a material body cannot automatically take shape or develop. When any material object displays development, it must be understood that there is a spiritual soul within the manifestation. The gigantic universe has developed gradually, just as the body of a child develops. The conception that the transcendence enters within the universe is therefore logical. As the materialist cannot find the soul and the supersoul within the heart, similarly, for want of sufficient knowledge, they cannot see that the Supreme Soul is the cause of the universe. The Lord is therefore described in the Vedic language as Avana Manasa Gochara, beyond the conception of words and minds. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the mental speculators try to bring the Supreme within the purview of words and minds. But the Lord refuses to be so intelligible. The speculator has no adequate words or mind to gauge the infinity of the Lord. Lord is called Ado, Adokshahaja, or the person who is beyond perception, by the blunt, limited potency of our senses. One cannot perceive the transcendental name or form of the Lord by mental speculation. The mundane PhDs are completely unable to speculate on the Supreme with their limited senses. Such attempts by the puffed up PhDs are compared to the philosophy of the frog in the well. A frog in a well was informed of the gigantic Pacific Ocean, and he began to puff himself up in order to understand or measure the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean. Ultimately, the frog burst and died. The title PhD can also be interpreted as plow department, a title meant for the tillers in the paddy field. The attempt of the tillers in the paddy field to understand the cosmic manifestation and the cause behind such wonderful work can be compared to the endeavor of the frog in the well to calculate the measurement of the Pacific Ocean. The Lord can reveal himself only to a person who is submissive and who engages in his transcendental loving service. The demigods controlling the elements and ingredients of of universal affairs prayed to the Lord for guidance, and thus he manifested his gigantic form as he did at the request of Arjuna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
What a fantastic purport this also. So again, Srila Prabhupada is trying to guide us so nicely that, yeah, just don't worry about doing any material endeavors to try to understand the Lord. Yeah. Without the soul, there cannot be no development of the embryo of this human child. Yeah. Human form, human body does not develop from the womb of the mother independently, but the soul has to be there. So here, so this was very important. This for me, I thought, when any material object displays development, it must be understood there is a spiritual soul within the manifestation. So the whole thing is also bringing us to the point of having faith. How much Shraddha do we have? How much, and faith in what? Faith in the scriptures. It's very important for us to realize that all these things, whether it's the Bhagavad Gita, whether it's the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the authentic scriptures which are there, they have to be completely believed. Yeah, we should not have any doubts on that. Yeah. So Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. These are the three parameters we judge anything or confirm anything with. If it is there in the Shastras, it is Pramanik. Yeah, that is how we have to understand it. So it's very important for us to not have any doubts. And who is having the doubts? The people who are materialistic in nature or the people who are mental speculators. So if you become too well educated also, then it takes you away from realization. Then you start questioning everything. Yeah, that is not to say that you don't study. No, you do study, but have this faith that there is a supreme creator, there is a supreme being who is causing all these things to happen. Yeah, he is the cause of all causes. Yeah, and the word adhokshaja is used. Adhokshaja means that one who cannot be understood by just our material senses. Yeah, material endeavors. It's not possible to understand Krishna because there is nothing material about Krishna. He's Satchid Anand. He's totally spiritual. So if you try to use any material methods, impossible to understand Krishna. It's not possible. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि ना भावेत ग्राह्यम इंद्रिय इंद्रियों से हम कभी भी कृष्ण को नहीं समझ सकते कृष्ण का नाम उनकी लीला नथिंग कैन बी अंडरस्टूड सेवन मुखे ही जीवा दो स्वयं एव स्फूर्त्यदा so if you do the seva of the Lord with your jiva, yeah, this is by the glorious Srila Rupa Goswami, that how to understand Krishna. Serve the Lord with your tongue. How? In two ways. Jiva Dao. Dao means in two ways. One is by chanting the Lord's names, and second is by having the Lord's prasadam. What happens if you do this? Swayam eva spurtyada. So ये spurti अंदर से खुद ही आ जाएगी. We'll have an understanding of the Lord. That's all we need to do. Mental speculation and all, he's talking about PhDs and all. I was laughing when I read, of course, this frog philosophy, Dr. Frog, he calls it Dr. Frog philosophy. That if you tell a frog in a well that there is a big Pacific Ocean which is really big, the frog will think, how big can it be? And then it starts expanding itself, starts puffing. Can it be so big? Can it be so big? And then eventually it just bursts and dies. And then he's saying the title PhD can also be interpreted as plow department. Yeah. That you are just a tiller in a paddy field. Yeah. It's simple farmer, and then you're trying to understand the cosmic manifestation and the cause behind all this wonderful work. Yeah. So that's not how we do it. The Lord can reveal himself only to a person who is submissive and who engages in his transcendental loving service. Bhakti. Bhakti is the only way. Yeah, the Lord will reveal yourself. And when we say that the Lord reveals himself, that means when you're approaching all these scriptures also, they are all personalities. Yeah, when you approach the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and all, they are personalities themselves. So the mode in which you approach them, they reveal themselves to you. If you have a genuine question, genuine curiosity, inquisitiveness, that will be revealed in a similar proportion by that personality. Yeah. The demigods controlling the elements and the ingredients of the universal affairs prayed to the Lord for guidance, which was done in the 5th chapter itself. But Maitri is explaining it's slightly jumbled, but the Lord's reaction is okay, fine. Let me show them my universal form so that they understand clearly. And he showed the universal form just as he did at the request of Arjuna. Did Arjun challenge the Lord? Show me how great you are? No. He said, please, can you explain? Yeah, you revealed so many of your vibhutis, but I'm not able to understand. I mean, what is it? And then the Lord revealed his universal form, and then Arjun got scared. He said, no, I don't want to see this. Yeah. So this universal form of the Lord is just something for the people who are not sufficiently surrendered to the fact that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Yeah, he is all in all. If you have that doubt, and then you need a Virat Roop for you to understand. अच्छा इतना बड़ा एक body है. The eyes are sun and moon are the eyes, and various parts of the bodies are different things. Mountains are there, rivers are the hair. Those kind of things. Then you can try to figure out that. But it is not for devotees. The universal form is not for devotees who have proper Shraddha. Yeah. So that is the understanding here. So he wants to help them understand and perform their duty properly. So they have approached him, and then he comes up using his Chit Shakti. He manifests this universal form so that all the elements and all which are there, it can be used in that universal form, and the various functions.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, Sushil Prabhu, Rao Prabhu, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, Prabhu, we are
Yes,
able to.
Prabhu.
Acha, it looks like Prabhu's internet has got affected.
So that's the thing that basically the Lord is saying that I am the power in the eye and the power in the ear. So it in the Shrutis also it says that Chakshushas Chakshur Uta Shrotasya Shrotam Shrotram. So I am the power in the eyes, and I give the ability to listen also, hear also. Yeah. So now the Lord is trying to show how to create or use the various parts of the body, and who are the various devatas who are given this job. Yeah. So verse 11. अथ तस्याभितप्तस्य कतिधायतनानिह निरभिद्यन्त देवानां तानि मे गदता शृणु. Maitreya said, you may now hear from me how the Supreme Lord separated himself into the diverse forms of the demigods after the manifestation of the gigantic universal form. Yeah, so how the Lord separated himself into the various forms of the demigods. So it's a short purport. Anyone wants to read this?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Purport. The demigods are separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, as are all other living entities. The only difference between the demigods and the ordinary living entities is that when the living entities are rich in pious acts of devotional service to the Lord, and when their desire to lord it over material energies has vanished, they are promoted to the post of demigods, who are entrusted by the Lord with executing the management of the universal affairs. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So yeah, so the position of demigods is not to be taken lightly. They're all servants of the Lord. A lot of times we somehow tend to have this feeling of superiority because there is an understanding that only from the bhuloka can you go back to the spiritual world. So even for the Devi Devtas who are there in the spiritual realm, not the spiritual realm, in the heavenly planets, they have to come back to the material world. So sometimes we think that there's no point going to the heavenly planets, which is correct. But they are all associates of the Lord. They're all serving the Lord. And sometimes even, especially when it comes to Indradev, we always have this, yeah, Indra is always getting into trouble. He's like this. He's so always worried about his throne, that somebody else will take his throne and things like that. But we should not forget that he's always performing um, work which is helping the Lord. Yeah, that's one of his duties that he has to. He's helping, and he's appearing in so many leelas of the Lord also. So it's all part of the service which he's doing to the Lord. Yeah. So in the universal form, then, which he appeared, then the various abodes, the duties of the various demigods, they are all also shown. So what is for example, the Surya, it controls the eyes. Yeah, Surya is the eyes in the universal form. Varun is responsible for control of taste. And then Dig Devatas are there for the hearing. Then Agni is responsible for controlling the speech. So these are all, now we are referring to their role in the universal form. Yeah. Then Ashwini Kumars for the sense of smell. So all these have been given different parts. Yeah, this is your job. Yeah. But the same thing is going to now break down into the jivas also. Yeah, that's how it is going to be. So it's the demigods are there who are entrusted by the Lord with executing the management of the universal affairs. So that's how we have to understand the position of the demigods. Any questions till now? Anything? Or can we move forward? Okay. So now we're going to talk about Agni. तस्याग्निरास्यं निर्भिन्नं लोकपालो विशत्पदम् वाचा स्वंशेन वक्तव्यं यस्यासौ प्रतिपद्यते. Agni or heat separated from his mouth. Now here it is important to know that H is capital. So that refers to the Supreme Lord. So in the Virat Roop, yeah, Agni or heat separated from the mouth of the Virat Roop, and all the directors of material affairs entered into it in their respective positions. All the directors of material, so all the other devatas were there. Yeah. By that energy, the living entity expresses himself in words. Yeah. So Agni controls the speech. So so Agni is without Agni, without fire, without so there is an expansion of all the demigods into us also. I am speaking. It is because Agni Dev is helping us do that, helping me do that. Yeah. So small purport, can anyone read or should I read it? Okay, I'll read it. It's very short. The mouth of the gigantic universal form of the Lord is the source of the speaking power. The director of the fire element is the controlling deity or Adhideva. Yeah? Adhideva, Adhibhuta, and Adhyatma. The speeches delivered are Adhyatma or the bodily functions, and the subject matter of the speeches is material productions. जो आवाज आती, sound which comes, yeah, sound which is emanating, that is the Adhibhuta principle. So each and every sense which will be there, they will have these three categories. Yeah. So that is how it is going to be. Each will have, there is going to be an Adhyatma component, there is going to be an Adhideva component, there's going to be an Adhibhuta component in each and everything. Is this clear? So that's how now we started with the speech, and then ek ek karke aayega now. So now director of water. So next palette, yeah, for the taste. So is it clear? Can we move forward? So one by one. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So one by one, all the senses are getting activated now. We're going to talk about each and every senses, and then we move forward. So the nirbhinnam, so bhinna, so separated. So all these things get separated, and then they get allotted one particular duty. Yeah. Nirbhinnam talu varno lokapalo vishadhareha jivyamshena cha rasam yasyasau pratipadyate. So अभी क्या आ रहा है? Rasam. Ras means taste. Yeah. So who's responsible? Varun ji is responsible for taste. Yeah. Nirbhinnam. Nirbhinnam means separated. Talu. Palate. Palate means which is it's on the tongue. It's a subtle organ. Tongue is gross. Palate is subtle. Yeah. Palate से taste आता है. So such palatable food was served, means such tasty food also. So this Varunji is there to give us the taste of these things. So when the palate of the gigantic form was separately manifested, so again, alag-alag manifest ho rahe hain, yeah? Varun, the director of water, Varun Dev is responsible he's the demigod for the oceans, but he's been given, because there is saliva here also, yeah? So he's responsible for this. The director of water in the planetary systems entered therein, and thus the living entity has the facility to taste everything with his tongue. Otherwise, if the palate is not there, if you're not able to taste the food, then there is no ras. Yeah. The whole idea is to have good prasadam, taste the prasadam. So we have to thank Varun Dev to allow us to taste all these things. So many detailings, so much details have gone into, yeah. So is this clear? So one by one, we'll be just going to all these things, yeah. Verse 14. Nirbhinne ashvanau nase Vishno avishatam padam grahanenam shena gandhasya pratipattir yato bhavet. When the Lord's two nostrils separately manifested themselves, the dual Ashwini Kumar, their twins, entered them in their proper positions, and because of this, the living entities can smell the aromas of everything. So nostrils are the gross organs. Yeah, we have, so which is there in the universal form also. So that is the Adibhut. And then the presiding deities are the Adideva. Who are the presiding deities in this case? Ashwini Kumar are the presiding deities. Yeah. And then the Gandha, which is there, that's the Tanmatra. Or yeah. So that is the one which is the whole purpose of the nose is to smell. Yeah. So that's the Tanmatra for that. Okay, next is so we've done the eye, we've done the taste, we've done the nose for the smell. Now next, Nirbhinne akshini tvashta lokapalo vishad vibhoh chakshushamshena rupanam pratipattir yato bhavet. So Nirbhinne again, the separated Akshini, the eyes. Now, who's going to give us the eyes? Who's responsible for the eyes? Let's see. Thereafter, the two eyes of the gigantic form of the Lords were separately manifested. The sun, the director of light, entered them with the partial representation of eyesight, and thus the living entities can have vision of forms. So again, we have to be so grateful to all the um, devatas also, yeah, all the demigods for allowing us to even do small things like smell, taste things, see things, yeah. So the Akshini, the eyes itself is the Adibhuta element. And then sun, of course, is called Twashta here. Twashta is the sun, which is the demigod or Adideva component. Yeah. And the Chakshusha, the subtle organ itself of the thing, that is the Adhyatma. Yeah. So a lot of times we tend to think that, yeah, nobody is seeing us. Yeah. I can do, because I'm sitting in this room alone. I can do whatever I want. But all these demigods who are there, they're all sakshis. Yeah. Vayu is seeing you, Sun God is seeing you, Varun is seeing you, Ashwini Kumar is seeing you, Dig Devta is seeing you, Indra is seeing you. All these demigods are seeing you. And somehow or the other, if you're able to fool them also, the Paramatma is always there. Yeah. So you are never alone. So we have to be very careful about these things also. We have to be aware that, yeah, we are always being witnessed by all these devatas. Yeah. Nirbhinyani asya charmani lokapalo nilovishat pranenam shena samsparsham yena sau pratipadyate. When there was a manifestation of skin separated from the gigantic form, Anila, the deity directing the wind, and so Anil or Anal is also another name for wind. Yeah, Nalo we say in the Bhagavad Gita also, entered with partial touch, and thus the living entities can realize tactile knowledge. So you have the gross skin, which is there. It's an organ. It's the largest organ which we have. That is Adibhuta component. Yeah. And then of the universal form. So that is differentiated. It comes separately. Yeah. So everywhere you're using this word nirbhannam. Yeah. It's a separated part. Yeah. Ek karke. Okay, all the materials is there. So now take one part and make that. And who's the Adi Deva in this case? Anila. Yeah, he's the director. Anila is the Adi Deva component of it. And then there are two types of skins. Yeah, one is the gross and one is the subtle one. So the the gross skin organ is called the charma, and the subtle one is called twacha, or the complexion, which you call, no? That is the subtle component. So that is how this is. So because of the skin, you can have the understand the tactile knowledge of touch. Yeah, touch. Prabhu, can I continue? Because there's we have time, and we're just going to be seeing all the various organs which are there and who are the
Yes, yes,
various.
yes, please.
It's okay.
Yes, sure.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. So now we're going to talk about the ears. Karnavasya vinirбhinnau dhishnyam swam vivishurdishah श्रोतेनांशेन शब्दस्य सिद्धिं येन prapadyate. When the ears of the gigantic form became manifested, all the controlling deities of the directions entered into them with the hearing principles, by which all the living entities hear and take advantage of sound. So, who are the presiding deities for hearing. They're called the Dik Devatas, or Dik means direction. Yeah, the Devatas of the direction. So, and so the Devatas are the Adi Deva. So the Disha is also mentioned here. No, Disha means all the directions. So Dik Devatas, they are the ones. Yeah. And the sense object called sound. Sound is the Adibhuta component of it. Yeah. Or the ears. Ears are also Adibhuta, the gross part of it. And the hearing itself is the Adhyatma part. The ear is the most important instrument in the body of the living entity. Sound is the most important medium for carrying the message of distant and unknown things. The perfection of all sound or knowledge enters through the ears and makes one's life perfect. The entire Vedic system of knowledge is received by oral reception only, and thus sound is the most important source of knowledge. So see again, Srila Prabhupada, he's and reinforcing the importance of hearing. Yeah. Very nicely he's said this. Till their nose and taste and all those things, he didn't say give any purport. Here he just written 3 lines, but it's so heavy, so important for us to understand that oral reception is the most important thing for us. Yeah. Shrinvatam so katha Krishna. Yeah, we have to hear. We have to hear. Tat Shrinu. So the more we hear, the more it enters into our heart. Yeah. We drink the Srimad Bhagavatam through our ears. We don't drink it through our mouth. So that oral reception is very important. Entire Vedic system of knowledge. That's what we're doing. Is received by oral reception only. Thus, sound is the most important source of knowledge. So this is very important for us to take the message that we have to hear more. We have to speak more about the Lord. We have to hear more about the Lord. Yeah, that is what is the takeaway here. Otherwise, baki sab mein dekho, purports will be very small and all. But here, this he's taken this. Okay, verse 18. Tvacham masya vinirбhinnam vivishuddhishnayam oshadhi amshena romabhi kandum yairasau pratipadyate. When there was a separate manifestation of skin, the controlling deities of sensation and their different parts entered into it, and thus the living entities feel itching and happiness due to touch. For sense perception, there are two principal forms. One is touch and one is itching. And both of them are controlled by the skin and hairs on the body. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the controlling deity of touch is the air passing within the body, and the controlling deity of the hairs on the body is the Oshadhya. Oshadhi. Actually, it is Oshadhi. And what does Oshadhi mean? It means all the trees and the plants. Yeah? So they are the ones which are responsible for this. For the skin, the object of perception is touch, and for the hairs on the body, the object of perception is itching. So two functions of the skin, yeah. One is touch, and then itching also is there. So different demigods are have been deputized. One for the sense of touch, one for the sense of itching. Yeah.
Prabhu, that Anila was the sense of touch, which we talked in verse
Air.
number 16.
Yeah.
And this was only for itching, it means.
This is for itching, yes. That's right. Because here it says the controlling deity of touch is air, Anila. Absolutely right. Yeah. And for the itching part, it is the Aushadhi. Aushadhi means the plants and the trees and all. Yeah, they are responsible for this. Verse 19. Medhram tasya vinirбhinnam swadhishnyam ka upavishat retashamsena yenasa anandam pratipadyate. Now he's going to talk about the genitals or the sex organs. Yeah? When the genitals of the gigantic form separately became manifest, then Prajapati, the original living creature, entered into them with his partial semen, and thus the living entities can enjoy sex pleasure. So that is also required because procreation is required. So who is the presiding deity here? The Prajapatis. Yeah. So actually, here, yeah, here it says Ka is Brahma, the original living creature, a creature. Yeah. So यहाँ पे see, this Ka is actually stands for Brahma. But then Brahma is further deputized the creation, yeah, to all the Prajapatis, like the Daksha Prajapati and all. So they are the demigods who are responsible for procreation. So here, even though here he says Brahma, but in the translation he says Prajapati, and mainly it means Daksh Prajapati. So all the sons of Brahmas, they're all Prajapatis because they are entrusted with further creation. Yeah. So each of them had 100 sons, 1,000 sons, and all those things. So that is the whole idea. Yeah. And yeah, Retasa is the semen which is there. So and it does give pleasure. So there is some element of pleasure so that the procreation takes place. That was required. Yeah. Is this clear? Can we move forward? Yeah. So everything is being detailed now. Yeah. Now, so the genitals are talked about. Now the evacuation process, he'll be talking about that. Gudam pumso vinirбhinnam mitro lokeshavishat payunam shena yenasau visargam pratipadyate. The evacuating channel separately became manifest, and the director named Mitra entered into it with partial organs of evacuation. Thus, the living entities are able to pass stool and urine. So we're talking about the anal opening here. So that is for the evacuation. So here, Mitra is the Adideva, yeah, to help the evacuation process. So whatever the refuse is there, it has to be expelled from the body. So that Mitra helps in that process. Yeah. And then we talk about the hands now, or how the hands, who's responsible for that. And हस्तावस्य विनिर्भिन्ना इन्द्र इन्द्रस्वर्पतिराविशत् वार्तयांशेन पुरुषो यया वृत्तिं प्रपद्यते. Thereafter, when the hands of the gigantic form separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business for his livelihood. Yeah. Vartayamshena, with partial mercantile principles. Yeah. Because काम करना पड़ेगा ना, हाथ हाथ यूज करके ही काम होगा सारा. So वृत्ति उसमें से ही आएगी. So it's meant for that. Yeah. So Indra is the Adi Deva for the hands. So again, each and every part, there is some demigod who's helping us in this. Yeah. Now, hand ho gaya abhi. Next, we move to the foot or the legs. Padavasya vinirбhinnau लोकेशो विष्णुराविशत् गत्या संशयेन पुरुषो यया प्राप्यं प्रपद्यते. Thereafter, the legs of the gigantic form separately became manifest, and the demigod named Vishnu. This Vishnu, very clearly, Srila Prabhupada is saying, not the personality of Godhead, it's a demigod, entered with partial movement. This helps the living entity move to his destination. So that is the understanding here. Yeah. So here again, the Adi Deva is uh, Vishnu, but very clearly he said it's not that supreme personality of the Godhead. It is um, just a demigod by the same name of Vishnu. Yeah. So the leg itself is the gross part of it. So the gross feet or the gross legs, they are the Adibhut component of it. Yeah. And Adideva is Vishnu in this case. Yeah. What else now next? Yeah, Buddhi now. So now we have done all the gross parts of the body, all the gross elements. Now we are going into the Buddhi part, yeah, the subtler things. Buddhim chasya vinirбhinnam vagishodhishnayam avishat bodhenamamshena bodhavyam pratipattiryato bhavet. When the intelligence of the gigantic form separately became manifest, Brahma, the Lord of the Vedas, entered into it with the partial power of understanding. And thus, an object of understanding is experienced by the living entities. So, Brahmaji is helping us to understand, yeah, have some intelligence. So, that is coming from Brahmaji. So, we'll continue. The next now, Hridayam is going to talk about the heart. Hridayam chasya nirbhinnam chandramadhishnayam avishat manasamshena yenasau vikriyam pratipadyate. After that, the heart of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered the moon demigod with partial mental activity. Thus, the living entity can conduct his mental speculations. So, moon is responsible, is the Adideva, for the mind or the mental speculation which we do. So even if you notice how the mind is connected to the movements of the moon, a lot of times the mind gets activated in different ways when there is a full moon or a new moon, and when people get affected by the moon. And even the English word which is there, which talks about a person whose mind is not in the right place. He's called a lunatic. Yeah, who's ठीक नहीं है, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Why? It comes from the word lunar, yeah, from the moon. So moon is responsible how our mind is working. Yeah, so that is how we understand that. Yeah, the moon god is responsible for uh, the mind or all our mental activities, which are the mental speculation, ability to think. Also, it's coming from moon only. Yeah. Verse 25. Atmanam chashya nirbhinnam abhimano vishatpadam karmanami amshena yena sau kartavyam pratipadyate. Thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra. So intelligence, Dekha, who's responsible for intelligence? Which demigod?
Brahma.
Brahmaji. Very good. And then for the mental speculation of the mind,
Moon.
Moon.
moon god. And now Rudra is for the false ego. Thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra, the controller of false ego, with his own partial activities by which the living entity transacts his objective actions. Anyone wants to read this short purport?
Sure, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
The
Krishna.
false, the false ego of materialistic identity is controlled by the demigod Rudra, an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Rudra is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord who controls the mode of ignorance within material nature. The activities of the false ego are based on the objective of the body and mind. Most persons conducted by the false ego are controlled by Lord Shiva. When one reaches a final version of ignorance, he falsely thinks of himself as the Supreme Lord. That egoistic conviction of the conditioned soul is the last snare of the illusory energy which controls the entire material world. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. So yeah, very nice purport actually. Again, such a short purport, but there's so much in this. The false ego of the materialistic identity. So that's not our spiritual identity. So that's why it is false ego. Yeah. Mithya ahankar. Ahankar, or the real ego is that we are the servants. That's our constitutional nature. Yeah? Jivera Sarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. That is the real identity. But we tend to identify ourselves on the various material levels. Yeah. I am a father. I am a husband. I am a general manager. I am an Indian. I am a Brahmin. I am a North Indian. I am a South Indian. All these have no relevance at all. Yeah. I am a spirit soul. I am a servant of the Lord. That is the correct understanding. So the false ego component is controlled by Rudra, who is an expansion of Lord Shiva. Rudra is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord who controls the mode of ignorance within material nature. So he's the controller of the mode of ignorance. That doesn't mean that he is in the mode of ignorance. He controls the mode of ignorance. Yeah? The activities of false ego are based on the objective of the body and mind. So all the false ego is on the bodily platform, on the gross and the subtle. Yeah. Gross also, we identify ourselves with the body, and mentally also, we may think and so and so and all. So why are we not the mind? Yeah. How do we understand? Because a lot of times we will say that, yeah, I am the mind. Yeah, the human body is the mind. But then mind also keeps changing, right? In the morning, I may wake up in a very nice mood. Yeah. I'm smiling nicely and very happy. So am I that person? Or am I the person after 3 hours who's in a very bitter mood, very angry mood? So mind also, we cannot identify ourselves with the mind. Of course, we definitely don't identify ourselves with the body also. So that is the understanding, yeah. Most persons conducted by the false ego are controlled by Lord Shiva. Yeah. So most people who are under the influence of the false ego, who want to relate as on the bodily platform, on the mental platform, on the intelligent platform also. This is all false ego. Yeah. So that they are under the control of Lord Shiva. When one reaches a finer version of ignorance, so beautifully is written that pagal to hai, but fine pagal jo hai. Yeah. He falsely thinks himself as the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So that is the biggest mistake people make. Yeah. That they think that I'm the Lord. Yeah. You are also God. I'm also God. Everyone in the Zoom meeting is God. Yeah. We're all gods. That egoistic conviction of the conditioned soul is the last snare. Snare means what? Snare means trap. Yeah. Last snare of Maya Devi. Yeah. Which controls the entire material world. So people get frustrated. They try different paths. They'll try to do karma yoga. They want to work hard and gain a lot of money and try to enjoy. They realize that there's no future in that. Yeah, it's all very short-lived. They try Jnana yoga, and then also they realize that, yeah, I can't figure out who the Lord is and all. So then the last resort, they say, "नहीं, Lord, what छोड़ो, मैं खुद ही, I am God." Yeah, it's all, you're also God, everyone is God. After death, we all become God. So that is the last snare. That is the last snare or the last trap or the last hurdle which Maya Devi presents. So I think I'll stop here. It's 11:29. So we've done till verse 25. So there was a lot of, so let me stop sharing the screen. So the whole takeaway for me in this session was that we have to understand that how merciful the Lord is. Ahetuki, yeah, his mercy is without any cause. Yeah, it's just causeless mercy. He's gone into so many uh, details to make it easy for us. He's employed so many devatas to make sure that everything functions smoothly. Yeah. We have to have this realization and surrender to the Lord that, Lord, you have done so much for us. The least we can do is to surrender to you. Yeah. And engage in bhakti, in chanting the holy names, which is the Yuga Dharma. So that is how we take this, the whole, all these verses which are there, all this creation process. Yeah. That how loving you are to do this for us. Thank you, God. That is how I would take this. Hare Krishna, I'll stop now. And if there are any questions, any comments, please feel free. I'll try to answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I think according to my intelligence, I'm just asking this small question. When you were learning this shlokas, now there was a name Anil and Mitra had come, and for Anil, it's means Anil and Pavan are the same demigod,
Yeah.
just different name, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
And Mitra
Yeah.
also it was written sun god or something. So does he have the same name, or it's just like Rudra and Shiva? So it's an incarnation. Shiva has a Rudra, but something like that different for Mitra also.
No, Mitra is Mitra is different. It's only for the anal activities, the excretion. He's a demigod responsible for that. What was the question? I didn't get that part. It wasn't clear.
No, I was just when I was reading the purports and all those things, Prabhu. So over there for Mitra, in word meaning, it was written something related to sun god. If I'm not wrong, we just take out
That was Twashta. That was Twashta. Sun god is for the eyes. देखता हूँ. I'll just share it. Just let's go into that. Let me share it and see. Legs हो गया, hand हो गया. Bracketing channel, Mitra, director name. Mitra, the sun god. Loka Isha, the director named Mitra. That's a good point.
Yeah, so actually, when I was reading this, then I was thinking that.
Yeah, you're right. It is an expansion because even when we do the Surya Namaskar, we take the 12 names of sun god. One of the names is Mitra. So it is an expansion. It can well be an expansion of the sun god.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So if there are no questions, then I will bring the session to a close. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Nobody has any question? That doesn't look like Prabhu.
Yeah, because it's just
You explained it beautifully. That's why.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much, Prabhu. Let us end the session by chanting the Vaishnava Pranam mantra. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नमो नमः।
वैष्णववृंद की जय,
जय
श्रीपाद की जय।
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 Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this
Thank you
seva.
very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.